Genesis chapter 12, blessed to be a blessing. First, let me tell you a story. Way back when I had just graduated from seminary, and you can see me there, look how happy and young I look. My beard's barely even Santa Clausy. We were looking for a place to serve. Right? Just because you finish with the Master of Divinity doesn't mean that you automatically have a church to serve. And so we were looking around, and we decided that we only wanted to serve in a Mennonite church because Mennonites seemed least likely to fire me quickly. Peacemaking, I appreciate that. And so there was a church in Nebraska that had expressed interest. And so I did the thing that you're not supposed to do, which is like, we're not going to Nebraska. So in spite of all of my prayers over the years of God, send me anywhere but Hawaii, that didn't work, but Nebraska. So we were looking at going to Nebraska. I wasn't really excited because I didn't know where Nebraska was, but we spent some time in prayer and discerning, and we looked at other churches, trying to figure out where we're supposed to go and serve next. And it started to feel like we were being called to this strange place. Now, Nebraska is right in the middle, kind of the United States. It is where, if anyone here is familiar with the Oregon Trail, not even you, Steve? No? No, the old game? Well, there's Chimney Rock is in Nebraska, the far corner. So that's all I knew about Nebraska. And that in Lincoln, Nebraska, there's a song by someone named, his last name is Green, Dallas Green, and he does not speak kindly of Lincoln, Nebraska. So that's all I knew. The thing with going out there is we're used to the city, right? Jen's from Buffalo, from this area. We're used to being near Toronto and being near our friends, having people nearby us, and having family right close by. But we decided, okay, if this is where we're going to go, so we start packing everything up that we have. We were ordered these weird containers. If you've ever moved with these containers, they look a lot bigger in pictures than they do in person. They don't fit all that much stuff. So we had a couple containers. We packed everything we owned and wanted to move into those containers. There I am. Look, it's not even white, that beard. Anyway. And then we had a little going away party on my birthday. That's my birthday cake, Nebraska Ho. And we set off. But there was a lot of worry and anxiety over that. We were going 17 hours away from family and friends. We didn't know anybody in that area. This community was kind and inviting us, but what if they don't like us? What if we don't like them? What if it's not a fit? It's one thing to move to the United States, which I'd already done. It was a different culture in Buffalo, New York. But I was expecting quite a bit of a different culture in Nebraska as well, and it was. Absolutely nobody knew what a double-double was. And I ordered coffee like that for 2 years until I figured that out. But we were fortunate as we went there, family was able to come out and visit us. I was able to learn more than you'd be able to imagine about farming as well. I've got that all up here. I was even able to drive a tractor. But it was scary, right? Going out, something so far away. Now, in the midst of it, I've never thought of myself as a risk taker, but people have described that as like taking a big risk, and I guess it kind of was, but as you pray and you trust and you go, in the midst of it, only maybe when we look back do we see all the different things kind of going on, the different pitfalls that could have occurred in the midst of it. And we were able to serve there for 8 years, 8 good years. So a little background on Genesis, where we'll get through to a different kind of traveling story. We are in Genesis, which tells an entire story altogether, probably written by Moses and some of the people around Moses writing this story, which means that this is a people that have already gone through the Exodus. So they are writing a story to help make sense of where they are, and that's kind of their interests here. It is a story written in the ancient Near East. It is in a different language with different cultural expectations, very different than where we live now. The Bible is written for us I always get this mixed up, but not to us, right? So we always have to do a little bit of work to understand all these cultural and language differences. We see Genesis has, I'm going to give you the 1 minute to win it recap. Genesis 1, God's good creation. Genesis 2, humankind entering into the midst. Genesis 3, they did the thing they weren't supposed to do. Genesis then has us starting to move east of Eden. This is a constant theme through Scripture, continually moving further away. Genesis 4, we see violence enter the story and murder, even in the first family here. We see this spiraling further and further east, further and further into violence and sin. Noah shows up on the scene. We have him building an archaearchy. There's a flood. There's this new hope that maybe now things will be different. And then Noah, like everyone before him, fails again. Then out of Noah's descendants, at some point, we end up with this huge empire, this epitome of sin and abusing people, building this tower, this empire city on the backs of slaves, trying to make themselves great, making a name for themselves that God will then go and scatter. Genesis, those first 11 chapters in particular, is a story of sin, this force that kind of infects people, infects us, and comes out of us, infecting creation in selfishness and violence and greed. And this rebellion against waiting for God's way, trying to do things our own way for our own purposes, our own desires. But then we have Genesis 12. This is a linchpin chapter. This is where those first 11 chapters are leading into, this is the problem, and now what will the solution be? And that's where we enter Genesis chapter 12. The Lord had said to Abram, "Go from your country, your people, and your father's household to the land I will show you." Okay, now we are introduced to Abraham. You will probably know him mostly as Abraham. Abraham will be the name he's given later. But for at least for another about 5 chapters, he's going to be Abram. Abram is someone who is living in a land that will basically be Babylon. He's coming from those great empire area, those great difficult places that God has just tried scattering people from. Abram's father is someone who makes idols for a living. So this isn't exactly the type of person maybe that you would think you would pick. But God, whenever God does something, bringing about redemption through Scripture, God always looks to partner with people. So God sees something in Abram and invites Abram into this opportunity of change, telling Abram to go. This thing that was happening in chapter 11 where everyone is forced to go, Abram wasn't one of those people. He's able to stay near his father's household, near kind of that area, and now he's told to go. And where is he going? Well, to a land that he'll be told later. It's not a lot of direction. And going means where you're going from as well. He's going from the place that he knows, the people he knows, from his father's household, leaving behind land that he would have inherited, riches he would have inherited, going to this unknown place, from this God, this voice, this some sort of experience he has here with the Creator, to trust, even coming from this family of people who would have many gods, idolatry, all throughout there. And this is where God starts to go and meet Abram where he is. This Abram is someone who's only known many, many gods, many, many things. And now he's going to go and trust and learn along the way who this Creator God, this God that is calling him, is as he goes. The place I will show you. Oof. That is a big risk. There's no maps, there's no names of the places, there's nothing else. Just this promise that you're going to go to this place I will show you. And why would you go to that place? Well, God says, I will make you into a great nation, and I will bless you. I will make your name great, and you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And all the peoples on earth will be blessed through you. All right, a great nation. So Abraham hears it. Well, that sounds good. And how is that great nation coming from his descendants? Well, we'll find out later that him and his wife Sarai don't have any children, and they're very old. So this promise of, hey, we'll be able to have children, so many children, there'll be this great nation. Also, we're starting from scratch at 0. That sounds good. Maybe we should try that then. And this blessing that means his name will be great. Remember, that's what they were trying to do in chapter 11. They were trying to make their own names great by doing this building on their own, like on the backs of oppression and slavery. And now God is saying, I am the one who will make your name great. That thing that seems people are longing for, to be this great name, this great family. And you will be blessed in such a way that you will not only enjoy that for yourself, but that it spills out. In this, there is immediately what we see God's plan to fix things. The first 11 chapters, things keep going wrong, or things start out good, and then it keeps going east. And now we see God's plan acting here through this person, through this family, towards redemption. It is a so that kind of people. We are blessed so that God can restore all of creation, all nations, all people. Redemption is kind of a strange word. We don't use it very often anymore. Redemption means taking something that has lost its value and giving back its value. In the slavery culture that would have been in the ancient Near East, redemption would be what you do to a family member or someone you care about who has been sold into slavery or sold themselves into debt slavery. Redemption is taking them out of that and freeing them. The only time I use redemption, and I've used this example before, but has anyone used a coupon before? Nobody raised. Has anyone raised their hand at church before? Raise your hand if you're scared of raising your hand at church. Thank you, Vic. That was very brave of you. Well, a coupon is worth nothing until you redeem it. You take something that doesn't have value, and then suddenly it has value in this new context. That's kind of what we get out of redemption. But creation has been devalued and infected and twisted with sin. And now redemption is untwisting it back to the good creation, this good people, this good way that God has made. Verse 4 is Abraham's response. So Abram went, as the Lord had told him, and Lot went with him. Abram was 75 years old when he set out from Haran. Abram went on this promise, living on a promise, living on a prayer here. Okay, I'm going to pack up my things. I'm going to pack up my family. I don't know where we're going, but we will. He does as the Lord told him. He trusts enough, and he shows his faith and trust in his actions. His action in believing, in going, and in taking those steps shows his faithfulness here. And he and his wife are 75 years young. We have a few people around that age here. How excited would you be to have children suddenly again? Maybe now that would be a terrible thing you would think in your head, but you like grandchildren, right? Maybe that's kind of the same feeling. This very old couple being told, you have been in this place your whole lives. You have settled everything here. You have established things. You have family. You have friends. And now, pack it up. We're going on a road trip. Where are we going? It'll be good, trust me, when we get there. See, the trouble that we have is that the idea of going, of entering into anything that is unknown, outside of our comfort, is terrifying, right? We are people of comfort, of routine, and even breaking those things, like that can be scary, being pushed out to go. And I think that when we look at Abram and his wife Sarai, this idea that they were going to be this great nation and that it's time for them to go on this grand adventure and this great promise, man, doesn't it kind of feel like God got there too late? Where was this call 50 years ago? And sometimes that's how it feels with us, right? It feels like, well, it's too late to do those sorts of things. It's too late for me to do or to be something different. It's too late for me to take that risk. Things are what they are. God should have asked earlier, or I missed my opportunity. And like with Abram, we are people of comfort. We like how things are. The world that we live in, the empire that we live in, has comfort to it. The idea of storing up for ourselves more and more and more in a world where, in a city where people sleep on the streets, is difficult. We are comfortable being comfortable. And it's the same for Abraham. He is leaving what we've already seen in the Bible is the greatest empire the world has ever known, a place where his family was important, where there was land, where there was comfort. He's being asked to leave all of that comfort for the unknown. But this is a passage of hope. Because Abraham isn't sent to do this on his own. He is sent as someone who is partnering with God, that God is going along with him and will be the one showing him as he goes. Invited to take his family, his wife with him. If you read this over, God doesn't say to take Lot, his nephew. He likes Lot, so he takes Lot with him, and that will continue to cause trouble, as nephews can do. But he's not sent alone. He's sent as this partnering, going together, that God is the one showing him along the way. There's hope here because we see that even in this comfort of empire, that God calls us and leads us out of those oppressive, different kinds of ways, those lifestyles of idolatry that Abraham comes from, that Abraham is still living in as God calls him out. That as we are led out of those things, we can learn as we go. That God will show us as we go that there is a different way as we walk out towards these places of promise, not these places of power. Leading us into God's promises of hope, of blessing. Of a blessing that is such that it's not just for me, it's not just for my family, but it's for everyone else. Enough to share in a world filled with scarcity, where we have to go and claw and grab so there's enough for us and ours. In God's world, there is no scarcity. In God's world, there's more than enough for everyone. So what does this mean for us? Well, we are reminded that God, from the very beginning, has had a plan, a rescue plan that has this promise to free us from sin, from violence, from hopelessness, from death, from hurting others, from scarcity and hoarding, into this place of blessing and promise. That God's plan for redemption doesn't go and destroy all that's bad and start everything anew. God takes that which is already twisted and untwists out. That God takes people even like Abraham, an idolater, someone who very quickly we'll see does not make good decisions. And God goes and says, I can still work with, in, and through you, and I will make this work for everyone. That ours is a God who blesses people, who blesses his people. Those of us who are followers of Jesus, welcome to the people of God here. We are blessed. You are blessed with that love, with that experience, with what you have, so that you can be a blessing to others. That's what we are as a church community. We are the blessed ones here in this place to be lights in the darkness, to be that city on a hill, to be the ones who go out and spread the love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control of Jesus right here in our neighborhoods. But we are called to be people who go, who don't just stay to ourselves, who don't just stay to our family, to our places of comfort, but to listen, to hear the voice as God calls us out, and to go, to trust, to not know exactly how things are going to go, but to trust and go and see as we go, experience as we go what that means. So friends, will we follow that call? Just like for Abram, where God is calling Abram out of these places of empire and comfort, we are continually called to be the type of people who live here in this place, in this empire world, as ambassadors, as foreigners living in a foreign land, representing this different way, representing this group of people who have heard the call from Jesus to deny ourselves, deny our comforts, deny our place, to take up our cross, that is, to be rebellious to the way of empire in such a way that it might even get us killed, and then to follow Jesus. To not just stay where we are, but to go out in the place, in our neighborhoods where we are, and to spread that love. So friends, may you experience the blessing of God in such a way. May you experience the love of Jesus in such a way that it pours out of you and into your neighborhood.